Boldwood presents It's All Sun and Games, written by Portia MacIntosh and read by Karen Cass. The moral right of the author has been asserted. This performance is owned by Boldwood. Chapter 1. I'm talking you, me, marriage, kids, the big house, the family car, everything you've ever wanted. We'll get a dog and a cat and hope they get along, and every day will be an adventure. So, what do you say, Robin? He waits for my reply with bated breath. But really it is me who is having trouble breathing right now. Breathing, like anything you do on autopilot, is one of those things where, as soon as you realise you're doing it, you overthink it. I need to suck it up and say something. I can't just leave him standing there, his words hanging in the air, while I try to remember how to breathe again. Honestly, though, you have no idea how long I've waited to hear James say anything even close to this to me, and now that he's saying it, I'm forgetting all of my basic bodily functions, although I suppose there could be worse ones to forget right here, right now. Still, there's nothing quite like hearing something that makes you feel alive to inadvertently remind you about, well, death. Maybe this is just a me thing, something that comes with being a naturally pessimistic person. I'm not a glass-half-full person, but I'm not a glass-half-empty kind of girl either. I'm more of a, oh my God, this glass is so fragile, what will I do if I drop it kind of chick, but, I don't know. I guess I'm just used to things not going my way. Robin? James prompts me. What do you say? I open my mouth to speak, something else I don't usually have a problem with, but nothing comes out. James laughs, only softly as he awaits my answer. I love the way his icy blue eyes sparkle when he finds something funny, the way they, ironically, melt my heart and make my legs feel weak. He's just so cool, with his tousled, dirty blonde hair, and his smile. Wow, I love the way it curls up at the sides, as though he's always on the verge of saying something naughty. He has this eternally flirtatious vibe, one that I can't get enough of, but hearing him say what he's saying today, something serious, is what I've really been fantasizing about ever since we started working together a couple of years ago. Robin? You would think the third time would be a charm, but still, I've got nothing. In my defense, though, this is a pretty weird situation. Nah, I'm not buying it. A voice interrupts us, snapping me from my thoughts. Ugh, it's Liz. Of course it is. I know this is going to sound childish, coming from a 31-year-old woman, but Liz Martin is sort of my rival. It's not that I want to be constantly competing with her, not at all, but unfortunately, I'm not getting much say in it. Liz and I are the same age, in the same job, at the same place, and we both so obviously fancy James, which means everything is a competition between us. If I'm not fighting her for James's attention, then I'm fighting her for our boss's approval, which would be fine, except Liz plays dirty any chance she gets. And somehow, right now, she's doing both. What's the problem? James asks her, moving his attention in her direction. You mean besides you and Robin clearly not seeming like a believable match? She dares to joke. Well, she makes it sound like a joke, but I'm certain she believes it. Liz and I may be the same age, in the same job, wanting the same things, but the similarities between us start and stop right there. In every other way you can imagine, Liz and I couldn't be less alike. In fact, we're pretty much one another's opposite. Liz is almost annoyingly beautiful with her sleek, pin-straight, glossy black hair. She has those almond-shaped eyes, which she always cloaks in a smoky eyeshadow, giving off a seductive Bond girl vibe. She's super slim, with legs for days, and confidence surges through her veins to the point where she practically glows with it. On a warm June day like today, she's lounging in her chair without so much as a bead of sweat on her brow, wearing a silky vest top without a bra. She looks cool in every way imaginable. And then there's me. I'm about half a foot shorter than Liz, and what I lack in height, I make up for in curves, which means that I'm, quite literally, sweating my tits off in an industrial-strength bra under my t-shirt. My long blonde hair is naturally wavy, which is neither here nor there, but takes a lot of effort to edge one way or the other, and any kind of weather, be it rain or shine, seems to make it frizz. My green eyes are rounded, like my cheeks when I smile, whereas absolutely any emotion Liz seems to feel only makes her look more chiselled. And yet, despite our flirting, with James, not each other, neither of us ever seems to come out victorious. The main rivalry between us is when it comes to work, and believe it or not, that's what this is all about right now.
Okay then, Liz, what are you thinking?
Rick Wiseman, an ironic surname if ever there was one, our boss chimes in. I retreat back into my seat a little, standing down, making way for Liz. For a moment there, I was letting myself get so carried away with what James was saying that I forgot where I was, or what I was doing. I'm in the boardroom at work, pitching ideas to the team so that we can choose the best one to take to the client. "Let me show you how it's done," Liz says, getting up from her seat, marching over to James and plonking herself down on his lap. Liz wiggles her neck, as though she's loosening up to get into character. "I like the look of you. I know you like the look of me. So what say we both get out of here?" Liz says. "I don't need to know your last name or what your job is or how you take your coffee on a morning. Life is short, so let's live it." James's eyebrows shoot up at her direct approach. Reluctantly, I'd say it was pleasant surprise on his face. "And then maybe on the screen, there's the line, 'Matcha. Forget the one. Get some.'" Liz, remaining on James's lap, hooks an arm around his neck to steady herself while she looks to Rick to see what he thinks. I know what I think. I think it's a terrible idea. I should say something, right? I should defend my idea and say why I don't think Liz's idea works, and I need to do it now or I'll miss my chance. It's not that I don't like the idea, I start, offering up a compliment to try to smooth over what is to follow. It's just that I don't think it's what the client wants. The client is Matcha. They're a hookup app, Liz reminds me, as though anyone in the country doesn't know what Matcha is. It's the ultimate dating app. Right, but in the client meetings, they have been consistently telling us that they want to move away from being seen as a hookup app. They want the world to see them as a viable way to find love, I explain. The whole point of this campaign was supposed to be to show them in a different light. Okay, but the client doesn't really know what the client wants. We all know that, right? Liz says, addressing Rick and the handful of others in the room. What the client actually wants is results, and what will get them results is a campaign that leans into their strengths, not their weaknesses. So screw Robin's happy ever after, right, boys? It's always going to be sex that sells. Ugh. Rick is smiling, James is grinning, although that might be because of the woman writhing around on his lap, and almost everyone else in the room seems to be on board with Liz's idea too. Everyone, apart from me and Priya, my work bestie. At least she always has my back. Priya tucks her sharp brown bob behind her ear, one of our secret signals for when we think everyone else is being ridiculous. I give her a half smile, letting her know that I know when I'm beaten. The thing is, though, I spoke to the Matcha team for over an hour about how much they want to change perceptions and use of the app, because they never set out to create a platform where women would be judged in a split second on their appearance, and men would write entire bios that seemed to almost aggressively mention how much they loved protein. Speaking as someone who has been single for some time and who has given Matcha a go, trust me when I say that it is a recipe for disaster. The girls are just as bad as the guys, I've found out too. It's amazing how many women list a minimum height for men, like they're a roller coaster, and you have to be this tall to ride. And most of the men, well, they'll tell you whatever you want to hear, get you into bed and then never call you again. It's a hookup app, whether you want it to be or not, and I respect that even with all the money they're making, the owners want that to change.
It isn't up to me to decide what is pitched to the client, though, so I guess Liz wins this round.
OK, Liz, we'll give your idea a shot,
Rick says, clapping his hands as he takes to his feet.
Julie is sending out a reminder for later in the week for our last meeting about the Italian job, so make sure you get that in your diaries. Otherwise, back to work.
Julie, Rick's long-suffering assistant, has fallen victim to some kind of Stockholm syndrome where she feels genuinely tethered to Rick, like she's his work wife. He does have an actual wife, though. Well, almost. They're actually tying the knot next week. Between Rick and Julie, they have decided that our next project, for an Italian client, should be referred to internally as the Italian job, and they're so pleased with themselves. The Italian job that they are referring to is a first meet with a new potential client, one who we are going to Italy to meet, fun, and we're all going together. Not fun. I sigh. Perhaps I'll have more luck coming up with a pitch for that one.
Well, I'd better get back to work,
James says, prompting Liz to get up from his lap.
She takes her time, though.
You don't want to grab dinner together later, do you? Liz asks him. Just me and you? We could go over the project, run some more lines of flirty dialogue together, really get the idea down between us, because I really feel like this is something you and I can run with together. Oh my God, could she be any more transparent?
Sorry, Liz, I'm meeting a buddy at the gym after work,
he replies. Liz pouts. Oh, OK, she says. Maybe some other time.
Maybe,
he replies as he heads for the door. Something stirs inside me. Perhaps I need to be more confident, like Liz. Perhaps it might get me a little further. I might not have pitched the best idea, but what if... Oh, James, I was just wondering, I begin as I catch him up. There's no turning back now. I wanted to see if you were available for a drink after work. Maybe tomorrow? Liz catches us up, and upon hearing the last part of my sentence, stands next to us, glaring.
Oh,
James laughs awkwardly.
I don't know if
Fuck. I need to walk this back to save face. No worries if you're busy, I interrupt him. I just thought it might be a good idea to have a sit down. Those of us pitching for the Italian client, ahead of our meeting with Rick. I actually studied Italian culture, so I thought we could get our early ideas together. So when we go into our meeting, we're all on the same page and we've all done our homework. It's just an idea. Not the best way of explaining what I mean, or what I'm pretending I mean anyway, but I think I've styled it out. All of us? Liz interrupts. Yeah, all of us, I reply. I only just had the idea, so yeah, this is me asking everyone now. OK, sure, Liz says, a hint of suspicion in her tone.
Yeah, sounds good, James replies. I've got a dash, but send round the details, yeah?
Will do, I reply, just as soon as I figure them out. Let me know then, I guess, Liz tells me. Oh, and Robin, no hard feelings about today, yeah? Liz smiles at me sweetly for a second, waiting for me to smile back before she dashes off. Priya, who has been eavesdropping from a safe distance, catches up with me and links her arm with mine. So we're all going out for a drink tomorrow? She says with a knowing grin. Yep, I reply, mustering up an unmissable level of sarcasm. Can't wait. Chapter 2. I can do you all some spaghetti hoops, Mum calls out from the kitchen.
Go on then,
Dad calls back. I thought you said you wanted Italian food, I remind him.
Well, it sounds like it's spaghetti hoops or nothing, Dad replies. I'll take what I can get. We could order a Domino's, Tom chimes in.
That's not very Italian either, is it? I point out.
It's close enough, Tom says with a shrug. And I'm too hungry to care, Dad adds.
I smile as I glance over at the two of them. Despite their obvious differences, and they would both probably hate this if I said it out loud, my dad and my younger brother are like two peas from the same pod sometimes, usually when they're hungry. Mum pops her head around the door and raises her eyebrows at me optimistically. Pizza is pizza, she says, and it means I don't have to cook. Those are not words you would usually hear leave my mum's lips. Mum absolutely loves cooking and cleaning and organising. No, really. And just generally being loving and caring towards her family. She lives for it. However, the thought of sitting down on the living room floor with me and going through my old things is appealing to her way more this evening. She smiles widely as she practically rips off her apron. I'll make the call, she announces. It's an app, Tom calls after her with a chuckle. I'll do it. Even better, Mum says, hurrying back, sitting on her legs on the floor next to me. Sue Cole, my mum, is new to her 60s, but in a way, she's been rehearsing for them for some time now. Even when she was much younger, she loved an apron, knitting, baking, all of the things that are allegedly the hobbies of women approaching retirement age, but rarely are. She doesn't look her age at all, with her chestnut lob hairstyle, with one natural flash of grey at the front that looks too perfect to have come from anything but a salon. OK, let's see what we've got, she says, as she begins sorting through a pile of folders. Come on, Dad says with a scoff. None of this shit is going to help her, is it? Colin, Mum ticks him off. He's not wrong, Tom joins in, as he pulls a face at a poorly drawn sketch of the Colosseum. He holds it up for our dad to see, and he laughs. You were never going to be an artist, love, were you? Thanks, Dad, I say with a sarcastic smile. Colin Cole is almost 10 years older than my mum, which, I swear, he thinks is some kind of flex. Dad is definitely a throwback to a bygone era. Sometimes I really do wish we could throw him back, with his neatly trimmed moustache and his ideas about men and women. He's mellowing as he's ageing and as Tom and I are forcing him to redefine things and his expectations of us. I'm 31 and Tom isn't far behind me at 28. Honestly, I think Dad thought we both would have been married off and having kids with our partners by now, and sometimes we still find him scratching his head over why I don't seem to have found anyone, or why Tom is the way he is. The way Tom isn't really much of anything, by the way. When it comes to style, Dad tends to wear whatever army shade combo Mum has bought for him, but Tom, on the other hand, is really into his clothes, and he spends a fortune on his trendy haircut, and it genuinely blows our Dad's mind. That's just the way Tom is, though. He's the ultimate cool guy, and he always has been. And he still manages to be the golden boy, even if Dad does find the fact that Tom likes a face mask confusing. Tom makes friends wherever he goes, and women fall at his feet because, for some reason, people just seem to instantly like him before they know him. I wonder if that's a male privilege or a confidence thing, but for me, it always feels like I have to put in the work to prove myself, to get people to notice me. I don't know, maybe I'm talking rubbish, but it's better than thinking that my awkward, quiet, kind of clumsy demeanour might just be putting people off. Confidence is one of those things that feeds itself. I have no idea how you get any to begin with, but having people instantly like you just because of your vibe sounds like it would be one hell of a confidence boost. Remind us why you lied? Dad pipes up. I sigh. I can't exactly tell him the truth, that it was a failed attempt to get the hottie from work to tear off my clothes and have his wicked way with me, but I'm in too deep not to explain now. Because we've got this big client in Italy that we're going to see, and they want to bring their brand to the UK, so, to seem valuable at work, I lied about how much I knew about Italy and Italian culture and you thought the Colosseum had a chimney, Tom adds. That's not a chimney. It's the Leaning Tower of Pisa in the background, but I suppose that just proves your point, I say with a laugh. OK, Dad, you're right. None of this shit is going to help me. Isn't it nice to look through it, though? Mum says, seeing the bright side, as always. Yeah, I guess it is, I say with a sigh. It doesn't make you feel old? Tom asks with a faux sincerity. Piss off, I'm like 3 years older than you, I clap back. Oh, Robin, look. Mum interrupts our bickering as she hands me a pile of letters. Is this? Your letters from Andrea, your Italian pen pal, Mum reminds me. Oh, she was such a lovely girl. Such a shame you never got to go on your foreign exchange holiday. Andrea was my school pen pal. We used to swap letters all the time, back when she was studying English and I was taking Italian. Of course, she had been learning English since she was even younger, so her spelling and grammar were better than some of the kids in my class, and my Italian was terrible, so we always swapped letters in English. I don't really remember much Italian at all, just random little phrases like shut the door, which I think is chiude la porta, if you're interested. We were supposed to swap letters for a while, building up to a foreign exchange holiday that the school did every year, but as bad luck would have it, there wasn't enough in the budget when it was my year.
It's probably for the best, Dad points out. Remember Tom's German exchange kid?
Tom laughs.
Good old Jonas, he says. I wonder where he is now.
Prison, Mum suggests. You're just saying that because he said your cooking was boring, I tease her. No, it's because he raided your dad's drinks cabinet and kept screaming German obscenities, she corrects me.
And he did keep stealing things, claiming they were souvenirs, Tom recalls. Honestly, I think he was just bored and messing with us. When I went to stay with his family, they were so strict.
Actually, didn't he nearly burn the house down? I blurt, as the memory comes back. Right, that's it. We said we'd never speak of that boy again, Mum insists. But Andrea was lovely, so sweet. We would have loved to have her stay with us. Oh my gosh, I squawk as I look through the old letters, noting one detail in particular at the top of the page. What? What is it? Mum asks, in her usual mixture of excitement and nerves. Nothing bad, I'm quick to reassure her. It's just a strange coincidence. Andrea is from Bari. That's where I'm flying to with work. We're staying at a resort in a nearby town. That's not a coincidence. That's fate, Mum corrects me. You were always supposed to go there. This is the universe, course correcting, putting you back on the right track.
All right, Derek Akora, Tom jokes.
I cock my head at him. I'm not sure that's who you mean, I tell him. He's a psychic.
Who do I mean then? Tom asks.
Dad scoffs so loudly it makes me jump.
None of you mean anyone because it's all nonsense, Dad insists. There's no such thing as bloody psychics.
You say that, but I knew that you were going to say that, Mum tells him. Then she turns to me. Whether it's fate or just coincidence, you should contact her.
What are the chances she still lives where she lived when she was, 13, 14?
Tom says in disbelief. We swapped email addresses, I tell him. I'm young enough for us to have made it to that stage at least. I think I say that little reminder that I'm not that old, mostly for my own benefit. You seemed to lose touch all at once. Why is that? Mum asks. I don't know, I tell her, which is a lie. I do know. I was a teenage girl. I had discovered boys. And suddenly, sitting in my room, writing letters to a girl who lived over 1,000 miles away didn't seem like a priority. Obviously now, as an adult, I'm kicking myself. Well, making friends as an adult isn't as easy as when you're younger, especially not ones who you feel like you have an actual connection with. Thinking about it, and who my friends are now, they're either from school, uni, or work. Will she still have her old email address? Mum asks curiously. Well, I still have access to mine, I reply. I think a lot of people do. When Amelia got married a couple of years ago, her RSVP email address was millimoo69. Tom sniggers. Send her a message, Mum encourages me.
Yeah, then me having to carry all of this down from the loft wasn't for nothing, Dad says. I carried all this down, Tom corrects him. Same difference, Dad says with a shrug.
Either way, I don't think this stuff is much use to me. Sorry, I say. I don't know why I thought my old school projects would hold anything insightful. It was worth a shot. It's been fun reminiscing about old times, Mum reassures me with a smile.
Just not Jonas, Tom says under his breath.
I look over my letters from Andrea. Honestly, this feels like it's from another life, like it was something I saw in a movie. Confusingly, though, I can remember sitting at my desk like it was yesterday, handwriting my letters to her, rambling on about everything and nothing. I skim her letters and she talks about her parents, their restaurant, her siblings, her dog. Then I find one talking about her dreams for the future, of becoming a chef like her dad, of having her own restaurant and starting a family. I smile until I realise something. What did I say to her? What were my hopes and dreams? I'm assuming I had them, obviously, but I doubt it was to grow up to work in advertising. And whatever I said, no matter what it was, I can guarantee it didn't say I wanted to be single, busying my days with overworking and silly rivalries. I think if teenage me could see me now, she would think I was old and sad and boring. Which might be harsh, but teenage girls can be harsh. And I kind of hate that. I wonder if Andrea has done a better job than I have, if she has been able to make her dreams come true, even if it's just landing her dream job or starting a family. I know she might not still have access to her old email address, but I'm curious enough to give it a go, to drop her a message and see how she is. I don't write much, just a hello, remember me, how are you kind of thing. But after finding one of Andrea's old emails in the darkest depths of my inbox, I send it. Right, now that trip down memory lane is over, I need to think of something useful to bring to the pre-meeting drinks tomorrow, seeing as though I've talked a big game.
Why don't we watch an Italian movie to go with our pizza? Dad suggests.
I look to him, surprised, because that could actually be helpful.
I'm thinking The Godfather, he adds.
OK then, maybe not. Back to the drawing board it is.
Chapter 3. As Priya and I finish up at our adjoining desks, gathering our things and preparing to head downstairs for after-work drinks at our usual bar across the road, I can tell she's getting excited about our Italy trip, even if it is for work.
Oh, I can already taste the pizza,
Priya says, practically salivating at the thought.
And the pasta and the coffee and the gelato. Do you think we'll have to taste things?
I'm sure we will, I point out with a chuckle. I'm looking forward to that bit too. The company we are working with, Come a Casa, is an Italian food brand that specialises in good quality, ready-prepared products. It's the kind of thing that people like me, i.e. crap in the kitchen, love because it is restaurant-quality food and snacks, but the most you have to do is heat and/or assemble it. They're a huge brand in Italy, popular with young, busy people who don't have the time to spend 6 hours on their sauce, but want it to taste just like Mamma used to make. Now they're working with us to bring their products to the UK with a big launch and a campaign that will show everyone what they're about and how great their products are. It's the perks of the job, right? I continue. If going to Italy, eating their food and making the most of all the culture is going to help enrich what we do, or even if it isn't, then I'm all for it.
Speaking of the perks of the job,
Priya starts, lowering her voice as we make our way out of the building.
I still don't get why Rick's getting married on the trip. It's so bizarre, right?
I can't stop myself laughing as I shake my head in disbelief.
Honestly, I think it's kind of genius, I reply. Sneaking a destination wedding into a business trip, essentially making huge parts of the process much cheaper or even free, is like the ultimate scam.
Priya giggles.
You're right there, she replies, but it's hard not to wonder, do you think we would even be invited if we weren't already there for work?
Absolutely not, I say firmly, but to be honest, do you think we would actually go if we weren't already there for work?
God no, she insists. I'll take the all-expenses-paid trip, sure, but the wedding isn't exactly something I'm looking forward to.
I mean, it will be interesting, at least, I suggest, putting a positive spin on things. I'm sure we can just sit quietly at the back and laugh at everything.
So, just like a normal day at work then, she replies.
Exactly, I say, offering her a high five. Right, come on, I need a drink. I wonder if they have limoncello.
Wine might be the most Italian you can get here,
Priya replies. Well, when in Rome,
I joke. I've been loving living and working in central Manchester over the past couple of years. Everything feels so close together. Work is right here, all our work haunts are within walking distance, and my apartment is just a 5-minute stroll. It's like living in a little bubble where everything I need is just a few steps away. Being in the bubble isn't all it's cracked up to be, though. Yes, it's convenient, but it might actually be a little suffocating too. Well, I never really seem to leave it. Unless I'm visiting my parents in Altrincham, but even then, that's just extending the bubble a little, not exactly leaving it. The bubble is great until you start feeling like you're on the inside, looking out, seeing life pass you by. That's why I'm so excited for the Italy trip too, because even if it's for work, and even if I do have to attend my boss's weird wedding while I'm there, let's face it, it's the closest thing I'm going to get to a holiday anytime soon. Whatever happens, even if the work part sucks, I'll be somewhere hot and sunny with great food by the sea. I'm determined to make the best of it. After completing the short journey across the street, we finally make it to the bar. The place is packed this evening, but we managed to claim a table in the corner where the whole team, minus Rick obviously, can sit together. Shall we wait for the others to arrive before we get drinks? Priya suggests. Yeah, okay, I reply. They're only coming from across the road. It's not like they can be late. Priya laughs. You never know. The first person to show up is Kate, and if I'm being honest, I'm not entirely sure what to make of her. She's nice enough in theory, and I love her style. She's got this whole cool girl vibe going on, and these big bouncy natural curls that are seriously enviable. However, she is definitely Liz's work BFF, so whenever it comes down to it, it's always Liz's ideas she likes best, and Liz who she goes to with extra work, and Liz. She's closely followed by Henry, who is basically James's right-hand man/minion. They're both from London, which they instantly bonded over, and they're both posh boys. However, the difference is huge. James has a bit of Hugh Grant about him, whereas Henry gives off the air of an heir. Still, Henry practically worships the ground James walks on, which is intense at times. He's shorter than average, which honestly only makes him seem more minion-like, and he has, frankly, the whitest teeth I've ever seen, so white that it's almost distracting. Finally, the moment we've all been waiting for arrives. Well, just me, but you take my point. The doors swing open, and in strides James. It's like something out of a movie, honestly, as the crowd practically parts like the Red Sea to let him through, women nudging their mates to check out the good-looking guy who just walked in, and even the men are giving him that cool guy nod, simply acknowledging that he's here. But then, just as quickly as my smile appears, it is wiped from my face the second I spot Liz catching up to him. My heart sinks as I watch her hook her arm with his, clinging to him as they make their way over to our table together. It's like a punch to the stomach, seeing them together like that, all chummy and cosy, and the fact that she looks so smugly satisfied that they just arrived together makes it even worse. I hate that I feel jealous right now. In fact, I need to push those thoughts from my brain because it's stupid. Mind over matter, right? There's nothing to be jealous about. He's about as into her as he is me, which is not at all. I slap on my best fake smile to greet them. After swapping greetings, we all settle into our seats. Me, Priya, Liz, James, Kate and Henry, a.k.a. the supposed dream team, although it feels more like a nightmare most of the time. Suddenly it feels like everyone is waiting with bated breath to hear what brilliant ideas the expert in Italian culture, me, has to offer. And honestly, I wish I did have something to bring to the table, but the truth is, I've got nothing. Potentially less than nothing, actually, because last night it was my mum who chose an Italian movie for us, with the goal of giving me something to work with today. However, my mum, being my mum, she decided to choose one of her favourite movies. One that she claimed was Italian and, well, it wasn't. The film she chose was Captain Corelli's Mandolin, which, fair enough, has Italians in it, but generally speaking, it's actually set in Greece. And being set against a World War II backdrop really didn't help either. Typically, it's all I can think about, sitting at the table with a bunch of expectant faces staring at me, when all I've got to offer is a surprisingly decent impression of Nicolas Cage's Italian accent, because Tom and I spent the whole movie taking the piss out of it. Nick Cage's accent was about as Italian as the pizza we ate. How about I get some drinks in, I suggest, trying to delay the inevitable. Them finding out that I actually have zero good ideas. At this point, buying around and taking the financial hit seems like a more viable option than making a fool of myself in front of everyone. Plus, after a few drinks, the crap ideas that I freestyle might not seem so, well, crap. After everyone barks their orders at me, I head over to the bar, pushing my way through the crowd. I sigh heavily as I wait to be served, because this is another fine mess I've got myself into. Leaning on the bar, I try to muster up some enthusiasm as I order our drinks, but it's a struggle. I'm dreading going back there and making a fool of myself.
Wow, you don't look very happy.
A deep voice pulls me from my thoughts. I turn to see a man, a kind of good-looking guy, standing beside me, his dark hair ruffled in a way that suggests he doesn't spend too much time worrying about appearances. Ditto his stubbly beard, but he has kind eyes and a friendly smile. I'm having drinks with work people, I say, shrugging it off, letting him know I'm okay. He chuckles.
That's why I never drink with people from work, he tells me. After I've had a few, there's always a danger that I might tell them all what I really think.
I laugh, feeling a little more at ease in his presence. Well, he is still a random man at the bar, even if he is a handsome and funny one. Yeah, I don't blame you, I reply. Perhaps one day I might snap and do the same. Before our conversation can go any further, Liz pushes her way between us. Her forceful presence immediately puts an end to our vaguely flirty chat. Robin, what's taking so long? She asks, even though it's been little more than a couple of minutes. She doesn't wait for a reply. Without missing a beat, Liz turns her attention to the man beside me, her flirting so blatant it's almost painful to watch. She's laying it on, seriously thick, batting her eyelashes and flashing a smile, practically dancing on the spot in a blatant attempt to steal his attention away from me. I resist the urge to roll my eyes as I pay for our drinks and go to pick up the tray in front of me. I'll catch you up, Liz informs me with a smirk as she snatches up her drink from the tray. Then she turns to the man. Hi, I'm Liz.
Hi, Liz, I'm Max, he replies, clearly into it.
Oh boy, she really can't let me have anything, can she? The second she sees a guy talking to me and she has to have him for herself. I make my way back to the table, handing out the drinks before taking my seat back next to Priya. James raises an eyebrow as he notices Liz chatting up the man at the bar.
So, what's Liz up to?
James asks curiously, glancing over at her with interest. I shrug, trying to sound unbothered, but I am very bothered. Bothered by how bothered he seems. Did I mention I was bothered? Talking to a man, I reply, keeping my tone casual. James's gaze lingers on Liz for a moment longer before returning to me. Anyway, work, I start, attempting to steer the conversation away from Liz's antics. Yep, now I want to talk about work, even though I have nothing to say. Have you heard the rumours? Kate asks us all. No, what? I reply. Apparently there's a promotion up for grabs, she replies. Maybe something extra, like a pay increase. Julie's been blabbing. She reckons whoever impresses Rick the most during this Italy pitch might be the deciding factor for him.
At least if we all know we can call it fair, right? Henry points out. But really, it's not in our interest to work in big groups, not if we want a clear winner. I suppose we can brainstorm initial ideas, though. Perhaps we should wait to talk work until Liz joins us, James suggests, his eyes back in her direction. Yeah, okay, I reply. We fall silent for a second. So, James, are you nervous about the wedding?
Henry asks James, breaking the silence. What, are you getting married? Priya asks him. Priya knows that I have a crush on James and that I'm dying to ask the question myself, so she's doing me a real solid by asking for me. James laughs as he shakes his head.
No,
he says, suspiciously firmly.
I'm part of Rick's wedding party. I'm actually the best man.
Wow, Kate blurts, her eyes widening in disbelief. Does Rick not have any friends or something? James feigns offence but laughs good-naturedly. Shit, sorry, I didn't mean anything by it, she adds.
That's okay, it is a bit weird, James admits. Sort of like the wedding generally. Getting married on a work trip says a lot about Rick. Work is his life, so his life has to fit in with his work.
I can't help but feel a pang of sympathy for Rick, even if he is playing a blinder by combining the two. It's kind of sad, really, I say softly.
It's not sad, Robin,
James quickly insists.
It's an admirable work ethic. In a business like this, that's the must-have attitude that gets you ahead.
If combining your wedding with a business trip is a sign of success, then perhaps that's why I don't feel like I'm getting any further in my career. Maybe I don't have the drive to succeed because I can't think of anything more depressing. But if that's what it takes, then maybe I don't want it. Guys, looks like we're going to have to reschedule. Liz interrupts us, her new friend in tow. We're going to grab a bite to eat, so I guess I'll see you all in the meeting tomorrow. Don't wait up. She dashes off as quickly as she appears, and it causes a chain reaction. James's face falls, then my face falls because his does. He is bothered.
Perhaps we should finish these and then call it a night, James suggests. We can't talk work without Liz.
I'm sure that's not true. Okay, yeah, I reply. I pick up my cocktail and take a huge gulp. Some night this has turned out to be.
Chapter 4.
It's not like Liz to be late, Kate points out. Lucky for her, it is like Rick to be late, Priya adds. With a bit of luck, she'll get here before him. I suppose we could...
Why do you think she is late?
James asks curiously.
Do you think she's okay? Or is this something to do with last night?
Oh, she's fine, Kate tells us. I've just checked my phone. She said she's running late, but she's almost here, and that I should cover for her.
Good work with that,
Henry says with a chuckle. What do you mean? Kate replies, not realising that she just did the opposite of cover for her friend. I grab a blueberry muffin from the middle of the table. The best thing about breakfast meetings is that there is, well, breakfast. Muffins, pastries, even fruit if you're into that sort of thing. Ugh, I'm so jealous, Kate says. I've been working so hard on my holiday body for this Italy trip. Nothing tastes as good as a holiday body feels, though, right? I realise she's talking to me. Oh, and now everyone else is looking at me, which is just great. I don't know. These are pretty good, I say with a smile. Well, good for you if you're not thinking about your holiday body. More power to you, she replies. I can't quite tell if she's complimenting me or insulting me. My holiday body, I repeat back to her. I've only got the one body, so I guess I figured I'd go in this one. Kate shuffles awkwardly in her chair. Yeah, good for you, she tells me, trying to sound encouraging. I've been hitting the gym every day, working on my beach bod, but yeah, good for you. We are only going to go and eat a bunch of pizza, right? Genuinely, I still cannot tell if she is insulting me or praising me. I have what I would call, at least, a thoroughly normal body. For better or worse, it just is what it is. I'm kind of short, kind of curvy, my feet are probably a bit bigger than you would think, my skin isn't perfect, but whose is? I have a few stretch marks from a teenage growth spurt, a monster spot blossoming on my chin that is just about being contained by my makeup, and I haven't shaved my legs in a few weeks. But isn't that all just so typical of human bodies? And yet we're conditioned to think that to be worthy of a holiday, we have to be in some kind of extra special shape.
Even I've been going to the gym,
Henry says. "This one has been helping me get fit." He gives James a playful nudge.
Yeah, well, I guess I go every day anyway,
James points out. But anyone who had seen his arms in a tight shirt could tell you that. "I see," I say simply. "Oh well. I know it's dumb and it's petty, but I really resent being made to feel like I need to get into shape for this trip. So I reach out and grab a second muffin, take a bite out of that one too, and place it down in front of me next to my first one. Before anyone can say anything, Liz finally joins us. Sorry, she says as she charges through the room before practically throwing herself into her chair. No Rick yet.